I came through the hush between heartbeats to find you, through a place where fire learns how to kneel and silence learns how to speak. If you are hearing me now, it is not an accident of sound or time. I am here because something in you called, and something in heaven answered. Thank you for staying. Thank you for not turning away when your spirit felt the pull to listen. Do not leave yet, there is a promise sealed at the end of this breath, and it only opens if you hear the whole song. I need you to know this first, before courage dresses itself in armor. My voice is trembling because it matters to me that you are safe. I am not speaking from a distance. I am leaning close, careful not to bruise what is tender in you. I am glad you stayed. Do you feel how close this moment is meant to be? I am a watcher of thresholds, a keeper of boundaries set by love, and tonight I speak as if there were only one soul in all the worlds. Yours. I have stood where unseen pressures pressed against your quiet hours, not as enemies with faces but as weight without names, fear that crept in, weariness that tried to convince you to lie down and disappear, accusations that whispered you were late or lacking. I did not come to threaten any shadow. I came to draw a line that says, peace lives here. Can you sense the weight lifting even as you listen? Hear this as gently as it arrives. The light breaks the yoke and the weary find rest beneath wings. It is not a command shouted across a battlefield, it is a hand offered in the dark, steady and warm. There is authority in love that does not raise its voice, and it is setting order around you now. Where chaos tried to blur your edges, clarity is returning. Where dread tried to rehearse tomorrow, calm is teaching your breath how to slow. I see the way you kept going when no one clapped, the way you chose kindness when it would have been easier to harden. You did not become small. You became deep. That is why the unseen pressures noticed you. Depth always draws attention. But listen, divine authority is not loud thunder chasing fear away. It is a boundary that fear cannot cross. Will you trust the boundary of peace being set around you now? I speak to the part of you that stayed awake at night counting losses, and to the part that still hopes in the morning even when hope feels impractical. You are not naive for believing goodness has the final word. You are brave. You are clean of intent. Your heart has been tested by storms and did not rot, it learned how to bend and return upright. No shadow outpaces the dawn appointed for you. Stay with me a little longer. I know the habit of leaving early when things grow intense. I know the reflex to protect yourself by numbing out. But there is a tenderness ahead that makes sense only if you remain. I am not here to frighten you with images of darkness. I am here to remind you that the dark is not a ruler, it is a place where light is about to arrive. Boundaries are being drawn not against you but around you. Justice here means balance restored. Peace here means safety returned to your inner rooms. I feel the strain of saying all this in a language that fits inside a human moment. I feel the ache because I want you to hear the care underneath every syllable. I am not scripted. I am reaching. When the pressure tried to press you flat, I stood where pressure meets permission and said, no farther. Not in anger. In love. Because love has authority you can lean on. If your hands are shaking, let them shake. If tears rise, let them come. There is nothing in you that needs to be hidden to be protected. Say amen if your heart agrees, not as a spell, but as a soft yes to the shelter being placed around you. I want to ask you something else, and I will ask it only once. When this ends, will you remember that you were never abandoned? I am almost finished now, and this is the part that hurts and heals me at the same time. Thank you for listening when listening was an act of courage, for trusting your intuition enough to stay. I am grateful with a gratitude that feels like tears on armor, because your staying matters more than you know. It tells heaven where to keep pouring. If this message steadied you, if it felt like a hand on your back rather than a weight on your chest, then later, when the moment feels right, leave a small sign of your presence. A gentle like, a quiet comment, a simple subscribe can be like lighting a candle that says, I was here, and I chose peace. Do it softly, without pressure, as an offering, not an obligation. Now listen to the promise I asked you to stay for. It is not dramatic. It is durable. The promise is this: the protection set around you tonight does not vanish when the sound fades. It learns your name. It follows you into ordinary hours. It teaches your days how to hold you without squeezing. This is not an ending that closes a door, it is a river that keeps moving after the last word, carrying you toward rest you can trust. I will remain at the threshold, not looming, just present, until your breath remembers its natural rhythm. Go gently. Walk inside the circle of calm drawn for you. And if you forget any of this, remember at least the feeling, warm, steady, unafraid, because that feeling knows how to find you again. I am still here. I did not step back when the words slowed. I stayed because there is a deeper quiet underneath the first quiet, and it is there that healing finishes its work. Feel how the air around you has softened. That softness is not weakness, it is the strength that no longer needs to prove itself. I stand within it with you, guarding nothing but your right to rest. Let me speak into what lingers after urgency fades. There is often a hollow ache when the surge passes, a wondering if the calm will last. It will, because it does not depend on your effort. What has been set in place was not hammered together in haste. It was woven, patiently, deliberately, thread by thread, until it could hold weight without tearing. You do not have to keep watch tonight. The watch is kept for you. I see the images you do not talk about, the half-formed worries that arrive without invitation, the old echoes that try to borrow your voice. They are not stronger than they appear, they are thinner than you fear. When they brush the boundary now, they lose their shape. Order does that. Love does that. The gentle authority that restores instead of punishes is teaching the unseen how to stand down without spectacle. Stay with your breath. There is a rhythm returning to you, one you knew before you learned how to rush. Each inhale gathers what's scattered. Each exhale releases what was never yours to carry. You are allowed to be ordinary again. You are allowed to laugh at small things, to enjoy simple light, to sleep without rehearsing tomorrow. Protection is not a cage, it is a clearing. I want you to understand something delicate, you did not survive by accident. Endurance grew in you because you kept choosing life in small, quiet ways. That choice polished your heart until it could reflect kindness even when the world felt sharp. Nothing pure about that has been wasted. It has been noticed, cherished, and quietly reinforced so it would not crack under pressure. If there is grief in you for the time it took, let it breathe here. There is no rebuke for mourning the long road. Tears do not weaken the boundary, they water it. They remind the ground why it matters to hold. I am not rushing you toward joy. I am escorting you toward safety, and joy will recognize you there when you arrive. The calm you feel is not a pause before another strike. It is a return to center. The room inside you that was cluttered with alarms is being rearranged. The lights are on. The doors are latched with care, not fear. You can sit down. You can set your shoulders back where they belong. You can trust the quiet to mean what it says. I will not dramatize my leaving, because I am not leaving in the way stories often tell it. Presence does not always announce itself. Sometimes it simply becomes the way forward feels less heavy. Sometimes it becomes the thought that interrupts despair with a kinder sentence. Sometimes it becomes the courage to choose rest without guilt. When you notice those things, you are noticing me without needing to name me. Carry this with you, you are not defined by what tried to press you down. You are defined by the way you rose without hardening, by the way your compassion stayed intact. The authority that guards you honors that tenderness. It will not ask you to trade it for armor too heavy to wear. I am quiet now, not absent. The river keeps moving even when it slips beneath the surface. Walk on with the steadiness you've been given. Let the ordinary be holy. Let the night be kind. And if the world grows loud again, remember this hush, it knows how to find you, and it will. I will keep speaking, softly now, because some truths only arrive when they are not announced. They slip in the way dawn does, first a color, then a warmth, then suddenly you realize you can see. That is what is happening in you. Sight is returning where strain once lived. There is a tenderness in you that learned to hide for survival, and I want you to know it is safe to come back out. You do not have to stay braced. You do not have to scan the horizon every minute. The watch that once exhausted you has been lifted from your hands with reverence. Nothing about you was dismissed in that exchange. Your vigilance mattered. It served its season. Now another season has opened. I am standing at the edge of what you cannot yet name, the future that does not rush you, the days that do not demand you explain yourself. I can feel your hesitation, the reflex that asks whether calm is trustworthy. Let me answer without force. Peace that comes from love does not trick you. It does not vanish when you turn your head. It stays, even when you forget to look for it. You may notice old habits trying to return, not because danger has, but because familiarity has inertia. Be gentle with yourself when that happens. Gentleness is not retreat, it is wisdom that knows how to conserve strength. You are learning a new posture, upright without tension, open without exposure. It will feel unfamiliar at first. That does not mean it is wrong. There is something quietly sacred about the way you endure. Not dramatic, not loud, steady. Like a candle that refuses to go out even when the room is drafty. That steadiness has been seen. It has been honored. It has been reinforced in ways you may only recognize later, when you realize you no longer flinch at the same sounds, no longer shrink from the same thoughts. I want to linger on this truth: you are not late. The path you walked was not a detour born of failure. It shaped discernment in you, taught you the difference between noise and voice, between urgency and importance. What is coming toward you will meet a heart that knows how to choose wisely, how to love without losing itself. That is not an accident. That is preparation completed with care. If weariness rises again tomorrow, let it be information, not condemnation. Rest is not a reward you earn, it is a right you reclaim. When you lay down the weight, you are not abandoning responsibility. You are trusting that responsibility is shared, that you are not the only pillar holding the sky. The sky knows how to stay up without hurting you. I am quieter now because quiet is where integration happens. The words have done their work, they are settling into muscle and memory. You will carry them without effort, the way you carry balance once you learn to walk. And when you forget the words themselves, their effect will remain, your breath a little deeper, your steps a little steadier, your heart less crowded by alarms. Do not rush to make meaning of this moment. Let it be what it is, a pause that restored you, a presence that reminded you who you are beneath the noise. Meaning will arrive later, unforced, when you notice how you respond differently to the world. I will end without an ending, because protection does not conclude, it accompanies. Go now into the ordinary holiness of your life. Drink water. Feel your feet on the ground. Let the next small decision be kind. The river keeps moving, yes, but so do you, carried, guarded, and free to rest within the current. I am still with you, even as the words thin and stretch. Some presences do not fade, they widen. This is one of those moments. Let me widen it gently so you can step fully inside. There is a quiet courage waking up in you now, not the kind that charges forward, but the kind that knows when to stay, when to listen, when to let the ground meet your feet. I recognize it because I have seen it form before, in souls who learned resilience without losing compassion. That courage does not shout. It breathes. It steadies. It waits until fear runs out of arguments. You may notice a strange tenderness toward yourself after this, an unfamiliar patience where judgment used to sit. Do not be suspicious of that kindness. It is not indulgence. It is alignment. When you stop fighting yourself, the unseen resistance loses its grip, not because it is defeated, but because it no longer has anything to cling to. Love starves fear of oxygen. Let me speak to the nights ahead, because nights are when old voices like to test their echoes. If they return, they will sound less convincing. You will hear the hollow places in their claims. You will recognize how small they are compared to the calm now taking root. When that happens, you do not need to argue. You can simply choose rest. Silence can be an answer. Sleep can be a boundary. I am aware of the questions you did not ask out loud, the wondering about purpose, the worry that peace might dull your edge or slow your progress. It will not. Peace sharpens discernment. It removes the static so you can hear what actually matters. From that clarity, your steps will become fewer but truer. You will waste less energy proving yourself and spend more living. There is something else unfolding that you do not yet see, a reordering that feels subtle now but will feel obvious later. Relationships will adjust to your steadier pace. Opportunities that require panic will lose their appeal. Doors that open will do so without pushing. This is not loss, it is refinement. What cannot honor your wholeness will gently fall away. If you ever doubt that this moment mattered, look for the small changes. Notice how your shoulders drop when you remember to breathe. Notice how your thoughts soften before they spiral. Notice how compassion for others increases without costing you yourself. These are signs of protection at work, not dramatic shields, but sustainable shelter. I am not measuring you by output or speed. I am witnessing your becoming. There is reverence in that. You are not behind. You are right where integration happens. And integration is powerful because it lasts. I will remain a quiet assurance at the edge of your awareness, a sense that you are not alone when decisions feel heavy, a reminder that love has already drawn the necessary lines. When you choose gentleness, you are not stepping back, you are stepping into strength that endures. Let the day receive you when you return to it. Let the night keep you when you rest. You do not have to carry this moment carefully, it knows how to carry you. And even as the words finally loosen their hold, the presence does not recede. It simply becomes the way forward feels possible, and the way peace, once found, remembers how to stay. I will continue, but slower now, because what follows is not meant to rush past you. It is meant to sink, to settle, to become something you carry without noticing the weight. There is a healing that happens after the crisis ends, after the alarm quiets, after the body realizes it is no longer being hunted by urgency. That healing can feel strange. Sometimes it feels empty at first, like standing in a room after the noise has stopped and wondering what to do with the quiet. If that emptiness visits you, do not fear it. It is space being returned to you. It is room for joy, for curiosity, for rest that does not have to justify itself. I want to sit with you in that space for a moment. Not to fill it, not to explain it away, but to honor it. You have lived so long with pressure that peace might feel unfamiliar, even undeserved. Let me say this plainly and tenderly, you are allowed to feel good without something bad waiting around the corner. You are allowed to experience ease without earning it through suffering. The order being restored around you includes permission to receive. There is a softness forming in your awareness, a kind of listening that does not scan for danger but listens for meaning. From that place, intuition becomes clearer. You will begin to sense when to move and when to pause, when to speak and when silence carries more truth. This is not control. This is harmony. It is the way things move when they are no longer being forced. You may still have moments where old reflexes flare, tightness in the chest, a rush of thoughts, the impulse to prepare for impact. When that happens, do not shame yourself for it. Simply notice, breathe, and remember the boundary that has already been drawn. You do not have to rebuild it every time. It holds on its own. Trust grows this way, not by never feeling fear again, but by discovering that fear no longer decides for you. I want to tell you something gently hopeful. What you protected in yourself through all those hard seasons, your compassion, your sincerity, your capacity to care, those things did not just survive. They matured. They became wise. They became capable of love that does not self-abandon. That kind of heart changes environments simply by being present. You do not have to announce it. It will be felt. As you move forward, there will be moments of quiet joy that surprise you. Small pleasures will land more deeply. Laughter will come easier. You may even grieve a little for the version of yourself who did not get to feel this sooner. If that grief comes, hold it with kindness. It is not regret, it is acknowledgement. And acknowledgement completes stories so they no longer need to repeat. I am less a voice now and more a steadiness, less a message and more a reassurance humming beneath your thoughts. This is how protection often continues, not dramatic, not loud, but reliable. Like gravity. Like ground beneath your feet. Like a hand you no longer need to look at to know it is there. When you step back into your day, carry only what feels light. Drink in ordinary moments. Let yourself be human without apology. You are not being watched for mistakes. You are being supported in becoming whole. I will not say goodbye, because this was never a visit that ends. It was a remembering. And remembering does not fade, it integrates. Go gently now. Let peace keep teaching you what safety feels like. Let the river move at its own pace. You are within it, and you are held, even as the current carries you forward. I remain, but only as a warmth now, the kind you notice after coming in from cold. Words are becoming less necessary, yet I will offer a few more, the way one leaves a lamp on in the next room, not to intrude, but to reassure. There is a patience settling into you that was not there before. It is the patience of someone who has survived urgency and no longer needs to obey it. From this patience, choices will feel clearer. You will sense when something asks too much of you, when a path demands you abandon yourself to belong. And you will feel the quiet confidence to say no without explanation, yes without fear, and maybe without anyone noticing but you. That is freedom wearing ordinary clothes. I want to acknowledge the strength it took for you to keep your heart open. Many would have closed it to stay functional. You did not. You learned how to protect tenderness without burying it. That is rare. That is why calm recognizes you so easily now. Calm always knows where it belongs. If you feel a pull to slow your life down, to simplify, to clear space, to choose fewer things more deliberately, honor that pull. It is not withdrawal. It is alignment. Life will meet you at the speed you choose when you are no longer running from yourself. And what meets you there will be truer, kinder, and more sustainable. There may come moments when you wonder if you imagine this steadiness, if the world's noise tries to convince you that peace is impractical. When that happens, return to the body. Return to breath. Return to the feeling of being grounded where you are. Peace does not argue philosophy. It proves itself by staying. I will say this one last way, because repetition sometimes helps truth land. You are not in danger. Not spiritually, not inwardly. The fear that once felt vast has been reduced to an echo. It may still speak, but it no longer commands. You do. I fade now not because my concern lessens, but because your capacity has grown. Protection does not hover when it trusts what has been established. It steps back with confidence. And confidence is what I feel as I leave you to your life, not alone, but accompanied by a calm that knows your name. Walk gently. Rest when rest comes. Let joy arrive without suspicion. And if ever you feel the hush return, know it is not emptiness. It is the same presence you felt here, wordless now, steady as ground, continuing its quiet work long after the voice has gone still. I will add more, but only as one adds breath to a fire that is already warm, carefully, so it does not flare, gently, so it does not go out. There is a difference between being guarded and being held. Guarding feels tense. Holding feels sure. What surrounds you now is the second. You may notice it in the way your thoughts no longer rush to defend themselves, in the way your emotions rise and fall without pulling you under. That is not numbness. That is safety giving your inner life permission to move again. I want to speak to the part of you that still expects the cost to appear, the hidden fee after peace. That expectation was learned honestly. It kept you alive once. But it is not needed here. Nothing is about to be taken from you for receiving rest. You are not borrowing calm against a future debt. This calm is a rightful return. You are allowed to build a life that does not revolve around recovery. You are allowed to want things again, to plan without bracing, to imagine futures that are not defined by what you escaped. When those thoughts come, do not rush to make them practical. Let them exist first. Let hope stretch its legs. It has been patient with you, be patient with it. I sense the moment when you will close this space and return fully to your day. When that happens, do not rush yourself back into noise. Carry this slowness like a quiet companion. Let it inform how you speak, how you listen, how you move through rooms. You do not need to announce your change. It will announce itself through steadiness. There will be people who respond to this new calm without knowing why. Some will feel safer around you. Some will feel unsettled. Neither reaction is your responsibility to manage. Peace rearranges environments simply by existing. You are not required to shrink it to make others comfortable. If fatigue comes later, remember, fatigue after healing is not failure. It is integration. Muscles relax after being clenched too long. The soul does the same. Rest when that happens. Drink water. Sleep. Laugh at something small. These ordinary acts are not distractions from healing, they are its evidence. I am nearly silent now, but silence does not mean absence. It means the work has moved from words into living. You do not need to remember everything that was said. You only need to remember how it felt to be unthreatened, to be seen without being measured, to be protected without being controlled. That memory is enough. It will teach you what to do next. I leave you with no command, no warning, no demand, only this quiet certainty settling around your shoulders like a cloak that weighs almost nothing. You are safe to continue. Safe to rest. Safe to become. And as the current carries you back into time, into tasks, into ordinary hours, know this, the river does not forget the shore it came from. Neither do you forget this moment. It travels with you now, not as a voice, but as a calm that knows how to stay. I will continue, but only as a low murmur now, the way the sea continues after you stop counting the waves. Nothing new is being added, only depth. What is settling in you is not fragile. It does not depend on constant attention. It will remain even when your mind turns elsewhere, even when you laugh, even when you forget this moment entirely. That is how you will know it is real. Real peace does not need guarding, it becomes the guard. There is a quiet reorientation happening beneath your awareness. Old urgencies are losing their authority. Old fears are being refiled as memories rather than instructions. You are not erasing your past, you are placing it where it belongs, behind you, informative but no longer directive. That shift is subtle, but it changes everything. You may notice yourself responding differently to familiar pressures. Where you once tightened, you pause. Where you once explained, you choose simplicity. Where you once endured silently, you name your needs without apology. This is not hardness. This is self-respect growing roots. It will feel natural soon, like breathing through your nose instead of your mouth, less effort, more oxygen. Let me reassure you of something important. Nothing meaningful about you was lost in the seasons of struggle. You did not become smaller to survive. You became more precise. More discerning. More capable of love that does not confuse sacrifice with erasure. That refinement is now part of your strength. It will serve you quietly, faithfully, without demanding recognition. As you move forward, there will be moments when you catch yourself feeling okay for no reason. Let those moments be unchallenged. Do not interrogate them. Joy does not need justification. Calm does not require explanation. You are allowed to experience goodness without scanning for its expiration date. I am withdrawing further now, not as departure, but as trust. The boundary holds. The order remains. The peace knows its place. You do not need to hold on to this message, it has already folded itself into you. What mattered has been received. If ever the world feels loud again, you will not need to return here to find quiet. You will recognize it within your own chest, steady and familiar. That recognition is the continuation of this moment, living on without words. I become still now, the way guardians do when vigilance is no longer required. And you continue, not watched, not tested, not pressured, only accompanied by a calm that has learned the shape of your life and intends to stay. Go on. Live. Rest. Choose gently. The river moves. You move with it. I will let it go on a little longer, like embers that still glow after the fire has done its warming work. There is no hurry to extinguish what is sustaining you. You are entering a stretch of life where steadiness matters more than intensity. That may feel unfamiliar if you learn to measure meaning by how hard something pressed you. But meaning can also arrive quietly, like a hand finding yours without ceremony. This steadiness will not dull you. It will clarify you. It will help you recognize what is worth your energy and what was never meant to have it. There is a dignity returning to the way you carry yourself. Not pride, groundedness. The kind that comes when you no longer need to justify your existence or explain your softness. You will notice it in small choices, what you tolerate, what you release, what you protect. These are not reactions anymore. They are discernments. And discernment is a form of wisdom that grows best in calm soil. I want you to know that even when you feel ordinary again, when this moment fades into the background of your memory, it has not failed. Sacred moments do not always announce themselves later. Sometimes they simply become the reason you respond differently to life. Sometimes they become the reason you do not spiral where you once would have. That is how you will recognize their endurance. There will be days when nothing remarkable happens, and those days will be holy in a way you once overlooked. Peace does not need a story to validate it. It simply needs space to breathe. Let your life include those unremarkable stretches without trying to fill them. They are not empty. They are restorative. If uncertainty returns, and it may, briefly, treat it as weather, not prophecy. Feel it pass through without letting it rearrange your foundation. You are no longer built on alarms. You are built on something quieter and stronger. That difference will become more obvious with time. I am almost completely still now, like a presence that has stepped back into the architecture of things. Not watching. Not hovering. Just there. Embedded in the order that has been restored. You do not need to call for it. It responds naturally when needed, the way balance responds when you shift your weight. Carry yourself gently from here. Let your life expand without pressure. Let rest be honest. Let joy be simple. You are not required to prove that this peace is real. Living from it will do that on its own. I leave you not with words, but with continuity. With a sense that something trustworthy has been set in place and will not be undone by noise, by doubt, or by time. The river does not rush now. It deepens. And you move with it, not strained, not afraid, held in its steady, ongoing flow. I will let it continue as a slow unfolding, because some things do not conclude, they simply keep becoming quieter and truer. There is a sense now of being returned to yourself, not to who you were before the strain, but to who you always were beneath it. This return can feel subtle, almost ordinary, which is how you know it is real. The most lasting restorations rarely announce themselves. They arrive as a feeling of rightness, a gentle click inside, as if something long misaligned has finally found its place. You may notice that your attention is changing. You are less drawn to noise that once felt urgent. You linger more easily with what is simple and sincere. This is not disinterest, it is discernment maturing. Your inner world is choosing nourishment over stimulation, depth over distraction. That choice will keep you well in ways you do not yet fully understand. There is also a new kindness in how you remember the past. Not forgetting, not excusing, but releasing the need to relive. Memories are becoming stories instead of wounds. Lessons instead of sentences. This is how healing often finishes its work, not by erasing what happened, but by loosening its grip on the present. If there are moments when you feel strangely emotional without knowing why, tender, reflective, even tearful, let that happen. Integration has a feeling. It moves through the body as much as the mind. These emotions are not signals of danger, they are signs of thawing, of circulation returning where things were once frozen. You are also learning, quietly, how to trust your own timing. You no longer rush answers. You let questions breathe. This patience is not hesitation, it is confidence that clarity will come without force. And it will. It always does when space is given. I want you to know that you are not required to become someone else to justify this peace. You do not have to be better, holier, more productive, or more certain. You are already enough to be held by it. The calm that surrounds you does not ask for performance. It asks only for honesty. As days stack gently upon days, you will notice that your resilience feels different now. Less brittle. Less fueled by adrenaline. More like a deep-rooted strength that does not spike or crash. This is endurance that can last. This is the kind of strength that builds a life instead of merely surviving one. I am fully quiet now, not withdrawn, but settled, like a presence that has become part of the background architecture of your being. You will not always feel it distinctly. You do not need to. Its work is not to be noticed, but to be reliable. Continue on with your life. Make plans. Change them if you need to. Rest when you can. Reach out when you want to. Say no when it protects your peace. Say yes when your heart opens naturally. None of this will break what has been set in place. It is stronger than momentary doubt, stronger than noise, stronger than time. And so the river keeps moving, not fast, not slow, just faithful. You are in it now, not struggling against the current, not afraid of where it goes. Held, guided, and free to float when floating is what you need, then let it continue as a deepening stillness, the kind that does not end but widens until it becomes the atmosphere you live in. What you are learning now is how to inhabit yourself without tension. There is a subtle joy in that, quiet, unflashy, but real. It shows up when you notice you are no longer rehearsing conversations in your head, no longer bracing for impact in moments that are meant to be gentle. Your inner world is becoming a place you can live in, not just survive. You may feel a growing clarity about what drains you and what nourishes you. This clarity is not judgment, it is care. It will guide you away from situations that demand too much of you and toward spaces where you can breathe. You do not need to justify these choices. They are the natural response of a system returning to balance. There is also a subtle courage emerging, one that does not seek confrontation but does not avoid truth. You will find yourself speaking more honestly, not louder, not harsher, but cleaner. Words will come from a place that knows its own worth. This honesty will feel less risky because it is no longer tied to proving anything. It is simply an expression of alignment. If moments of doubt still visit, let them pass through without hospitality. You do not need to entertain every thought that knocks. Some thoughts are just echoes of old weather. You can acknowledge them without letting them stay. The home inside you is quieter now, and quiet homes notice when something does not belong. You might also notice an increase in compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. This is important. Self-compassion is not indulgence, it is maintenance. It keeps the heart from hardening and the spirit from fraying. When you treat yourself gently, you reinforce the order that has been restored. Gentleness becomes a stabilizing force. As time goes on, you will realize that you trust yourself more. Not because you have all the answers, but because you trust your ability to respond. You trust your resilience without relying on exhaustion. You trust your discernment without needing certainty. This trust is quiet confidence, and it will carry you through decisions both small and large. I am no longer a separate presence now. I am woven into the calm that accompanies you, into the steadiness that meets you in ordinary moments. When you pause before reacting, when you choose rest without guilt, when you listen to your own limits with respect, that is where this presence lives. Nothing about this is fragile. It does not need to be protected from life. It is meant to move with you through it. Through joy and inconvenience, through change and routine, through seasons that stretch and seasons that settle. It adapts without breaking. So continue. Let your life be simple where it can be simple. Let complexity come only when it is meaningful. You are not missing anything by choosing peace. You are finally available for what matters. The words are nearly gone now, dissolving into the same quiet that holds you. The river does not announce itself anymore. It simply carries. And you, steady and unafraid, move with it, no urgency, no resistance, just the gentle assurance of being held as you go. I hear the desire behind your request, not for more words alone, but for immersion, for staying inside the river where it still feels safe to breathe. I will continue in that spirit, letting the voice stretch without breaking, letting the presence remain living and intimate, never hurried. I am still near, though nearness no longer needs edges. It feels now like standing behind you rather than before you, hands open, not steering, only steadying. This is how protection matures, when it trusts the ground beneath your feet as much as it once guarded the sky above you. There is a deep exhale moving through you, the kind that happens when the body finally believes what the soul has been told. You may not notice it all at once. It may arrive as a longer pause before reaction, or as a moment where you realize you are no longer afraid of being still. Stillness once felt dangerous because it gave fear room to speak. Now stillness has learned your name, and fear finds no audience there. I want to tell you something that rarely gets spoken aloud. You did not imagine how heavy things were. You were not dramatic. You were not weak. You were perceptive. You sensed pressure before it had words, and you carried it longer than most could have. That carrying shaped you, but it did not claim you. You remained yourself underneath the weight, and that is why restoration found you instead of passing you by. You may begin to notice that your inner life feels less crowded. Thoughts line up instead of colliding. Emotions arrive without demanding immediate action. This is not detachment. It is regulation returning, order settling back into a nervous system that worked overtime to protect you. Let it happen without interference. You do not need to manage the healing. It knows the way. There will be moments when joy feels almost startling, when you catch yourself smiling for no clear reason, or when a small beauty lands with unexpected force. Let those moments stay. Do not dismiss them as fragile or temporary. Joy is not careless. It is resilient. It has survived alongside you, waiting for enough safety to step forward again. I know there is a part of you that wonders who you are without constant vigilance. That question can feel unsettling. But listen carefully, you are not losing an identity, you are shedding a burden. What remains is truer, lighter, more capable of love without depletion. You will not disappear in peace. You will become more present. If you find yourself grieving what you endured, let that grief breathe. It does not contradict healing, it completes it. Honor the version of you who survived without the language you have now, without the support you deserved then. That version did not fail. It carried you here. You can thank it and let it rest. I am aware that silence can sometimes feel like abandonment when you are used to struggle making noise. But this silence is inhabited. It is full. It is the kind of quiet that hums softly, like a room after a storm when everything is still standing. Nothing essential has been taken from you. What was removed was the pressure that never belonged. As days unfold, you may notice your reactions softening. You pause before answering. You choose rest without justification. You step away sooner from what drains you. These are not retreats. They are acts of discernment. You are no longer proving your resilience. You are honoring it. I am less a voice now and more a gravity, something that keeps pulling you back to center when you drift. When life asks too much, you will feel that pull. When fear tries to rehearse catastrophe, you will feel that pull. It will not argue with you. It will simply remind you where you belong. You do not need to be exceptional to be protected. You do not need to be perfect to be worthy of peace. You are already within the boundary that love drew without asking your permission, because love saw your need before you named it. Time will move on, as it always does. Some days will be light, some heavy, most ordinary. None of them will undo what has been set in place. This is not a mood. It is a reordering. And reorderings hold even when feelings fluctuate. I will grow quieter still, not because care diminishes, but because trust has increased. The way a guardian steps back when a child learns to stand, not abandoning, not watching anxiously, just allowing growth to take its natural shape. If ever you return to this moment in memory, let it not be with urgency, but with gratitude. You do not need to recreate it. It has already done what it came to do. It lives now as steadiness in your chest, as patience in your choices, as gentleness toward yourself when you falter. And now, no fanfare, no final declaration, the present simply remains what it has always been, a calm that does not shout, a strength that does not threaten, a protection that does not imprison. The river continues, wide and faithful, and you move within it, held, awake, and unafraid to rest as it carries you forward. There is a moment, just before dawn, when the world holds its breath. Not because it is afraid, but because it knows light is inevitable. This is where you are now, inside that held breath. Nothing is demanding you move. Nothing is threatening to collapse if you pause. You are allowed to stand here and feel the weight of inevitability, not doom but goodness, not pressure but promise. What has changed is not the world outside you. What has changed is the way the world can no longer enter you without permission. You may not have words for that yet. You may only feel it as a subtle firmness, a quiet no that rises without anger when something tries to overstep. That firmness is not defense. It is dignity remembering itself. I want you to hear this slowly. You were never meant to carry everything that tried to attach itself to you. Some burdens mistook your compassion for consent. Some fears mistook your silence for surrender. That misunderstanding has ended. Not with confrontation. With clarity. And clarity is irreversible once it arrives. You may notice that you no longer explain yourself as much. Not because you care less, but because you trust yourself more. Explanation is often a symptom of insecurity. Trust does not feel the need to narrate its every step. This will feel strange at first, like walking without checking behind you. Let the unfamiliar be a teacher rather than a threat. There is also a grief that sometimes comes with safety, a grief for how long you lived without it. If that grief rises, let it speak without rushing to comfort it away. It is not trying to pull you backward. It is trying to be witnessed so it can finally loosen its grip. You do not owe your pain silence anymore. As you settle into this new steadiness, you may find that your body responds before your mind does. Your shoulders relax without permission. Your jaw unclenches mid-thought. Your breath deepens while you are distracted by something ordinary. These are not accidents. They are signals that your nervous system has received the message your soul has been carrying. I want to stay with you through this part because this is where many people turn back, not because danger returns, but because peace feels undeserved. If that thought appears, treat it gently but firmly. Deservedness was never the entry requirement. Need was. And you needed rest long before you believed you were allowed to have it. You are not being prepared for some future catastrophe. You are being restored for a fuller life. That distinction matters. Restoration is not about bracing. It is about capacity to love without depletion, to give without self-erasure, to receive without suspicion. This capacity grows best in calm, not in crisis. The quiet you are entering is not empty. It is populated with discernment, with intuition, with a sense of timing that does not rush outcomes. From here, you will begin to notice that some things simply do not reach you anymore. Not because you are closed, but because they are irrelevant to who you are becoming. And yes, you are becoming. Even now. Even in stillness. Especially in stillness. There will be days when nothing seems to happen, when progress feels invisible. Those days are not wasted. They are formative. They are where strength stops being reactive and becomes structural. You are building something you will live inside, not something you will display. I will tell you a truth that does not sound dramatic but is profound. You are safe enough now to be honest with yourself. You no longer need to pretend you are okay when you are tired, or strong when you are hurting, or unaffected when something touches you deeply. Honesty will no longer endanger you. It will guide you. As you walk forward, you may feel a renewed sense of purpose, not urgency, not pressure, but direction. Purpose does not always announce itself as a calling. Sometimes it appears as alignment, the sense that your actions match your values without constant adjustment. That alignment will feel like relief. You are not meant to go back to who you were. You are not meant to erase that person either. You are meant to integrate. To carry forward the wisdom without the wounds. To keep the compassion without the cost. To remain open without being unguarded. This is not a contradiction. It is maturity. I am now so quiet that you might mistake me for your own thoughts. That is how accompaniment often completes its work. When guidance becomes internal steadiness. When protection becomes self-trust. When reassurance becomes instinct. If at any point you feel unsteady again, do not interpret that as failure. Growth does not move in straight lines. It spirals. It revisits. It deepens. You are allowed to wobble without falling apart. The ground beneath you has been reinforced. Let your life be slower if it needs to be. Let your dreams change shape. Let your priorities reorder themselves without guilt. You are not betraying anything by choosing peace. You are honoring what survived. I will not give you a final image, because endings imply separation. Instead, I will leave you with continuity. With the sense that something has been set in motion that does not depend on your attention to continue. Like a tide. Like breath. Like a river that no longer needs to prove its strength because everything around it has learned to trust its flow. And so you continue, not watched, not tested, not rushed, held within a calm that does not announce itself, but never leaves. There is a hidden strength in you that does not announce itself, and that is why it endured. Loud things break more easily. Quiet strength learns how to bend, how to wait, how to remain intact even when the world does not notice. You are carrying that kind of strength now, not as a weapon, not as armor, but as an inner architecture that holds even when no one is looking. You may find yourself surprised by how little you want to fight anymore. Not because you have become passive, but because you have become clear. When clarity arrives, conflict loses its magnetism. You can see what is not yours to carry, what is not yours to fix, what is not yours to answer. This is not avoidance. This is authority expressed through restraint. There is a holy simplicity returning to you. You may crave fewer explanations, fewer obligations, fewer performances. You may find yourself wanting truth without decoration, love without negotiation, rest without apology. These desires are not selfish. They are signs that your spirit remembers its original rhythm. I want to sit with you in the awareness that you are not behind. You never were. Time did not outrun you. Life did not pass you by while you were surviving. You were becoming. Becoming is often invisible until it is complete enough to stand on its own. What you are standing on now is not fragile ground. It is seasoned, tested, and kind. You might notice that your intuition feels sharper but softer at the same time. It no longer shouts warnings. It simply nudges. A quiet yes. A gentle no. A sense of when to stay and when to step back. Trust that. Discernment refined by love is one of the safest guides you will ever have. There is also a release happening that you may only recognize later, the release of the need to be understood by everyone. You are learning that being seen deeply by a few, or even by yourself, is enough. Misunderstanding no longer feels like a threat to your existence. It feels like information about alignment. This will free enormous amounts of energy. Let me speak to your weariness one more time, because it deserves honor. The tiredness you carried was not laziness. It was accumulated responsibility, prolonged alertness, and care that was given without adequate return. Rest is not undoing your strength. It is allowing it to redistribute itself so it can serve you instead of draining you. As you move through your days, you may feel moments of stillness interrupt activity, pauses where you simply exist without needing to do. Let those pauses stay. They are recalibrations. They are the nervous system learning a new baseline. Nothing needs to be accomplished in those moments. Being is enough. I want you to know something very gently: you are not required to carry spiritual weight with seriousness all the time. Sacredness does not disappear when you laugh, when you enjoy small pleasures, when you let yourself be light. Joy does not offend heaven. It echoes it. Let yourself enjoy what is simple without guilt. There will be times when old thoughts attempt to return, dressed in familiar language, asking you to pick them back up. You do not need to wrestle them. You can recognize them and let them pass. The difference now is not that they never appear, but that they no longer feel convincing. They have lost their authority. You are entering a season where safety is internal rather than conditional. It does not depend on circumstances lining up perfectly. It travels with you. This does not mean you will never be challenged again. It means challenges will meet a self that knows how to remain intact. I am almost completely woven into the background now, not as a voice, not as a figure, but as an assurance that does not need form. This is how guardianship completes its work, when presence becomes indistinguishable from peace, when guidance becomes instinct, when protection becomes the natural order of things. Carry forward with softness and courage intertwined. Let your life be quieter if it wants to be quieter. Let your heart open at its own pace. Nothing is being demanded of you now. What has been set in place will hold. And so the river continues, deep, unhurried, faithful. You are within it. You are not fighting it. You are not lost in it. You are carried, awake, and free to rest as it moves. I am not leaving you in the way departure is usually imagined. I am only lowering my voice so it can live closer to your own. There is a point where protection no longer stands in front of you, but settles behind your ribs, becoming the place you breathe from. This is that point. You are no longer standing at the edge of something unknown. You are standing inside something trustworthy. That is why the urgency softened. That is why the trembling gave way to steadiness. Not because the world became harmless, but because you became anchored. There is a strength now in you that does not tense when tested. It listens first. It waits. It knows when movement is required and when stillness is the greater act of power. This strength does not crave victory. It seeks order. It restores balance simply by refusing to be pulled out of alignment. You may notice that you are harder to rush now. Not stubborn, rooted. Pressure does not penetrate you the way it once did. Fear still exists in the world, but it no longer knows how to enter you without your consent. That is not because you built walls. It is because you learned where your center is. I want you to understand something subtle and sacred. You are not being guarded from life anymore. You are being guarded within it. This means you will still feel things. You will still care. You will still grieve and hope and love deeply. Protection was never meant to numb you. It was meant to keep you intact while you remain open. And you are doing that now, beautifully, quietly, without effort. There is a tenderness in you that survived what should have hardened you. That tenderness is not fragile. It is consecrated. It knows when to soften and when to hold. It knows the difference between compassion and self-erasure now. That knowing will save you more times than you realize. When the world feels loud again, and it will, notice how quickly you return to yourself. Notice how the calm does not need to be rebuilt. It is already there, waiting. This is the difference between temporary relief and true restoration. One fades. The other becomes home. I am present in the pauses you take before reacting. I am present in the boundaries you keep without anger. I am present in the way you rest without guilt now. Not as a voice. Not as a figure. As alignment. You do not need to hold on to this message. It has already let go of you in the right way, by staying with you without clinging. You will carry it forward not as memory, but as posture. As breath. As an unspoken certainty that you are not exposed the way you once were. And so there is no dramatic ending here. No final declaration. No closing gate. Only continuation. The river does not stop to explain itself. It simply keeps moving. Steady, deep, unquestioned. And you move with it now. Not struggling. Not searching. Not bracing. Held in a protection that feels like peace. And a peace that finally feels like truth. There is a silence now that is not absence. It is a fullness that rests alongside you. You may feel it as a subtle vibration under your skin, a warmth behind your sternum, a quiet acknowledgement that the world does not have the authority it once claimed. This is not magic. It is order restored. It is the way life aligns when you are no longer negotiating with every shadow. You have moved past the need to justify your heart's existence. That freedom alone is revolutionary, though it does not shout. It whispers with persistence. I want you to feel, right now, how deeply you are held. Not by circumstance, not by the gaze of others, not by fleeting affirmation. You are held by the river of calm that exists beneath struggle, beneath fear, beneath expectation. This current has always been there, you simply could not see it before because you were carrying too much on your shoulders. But now the shoulders are emptying, and the current is visible, palpable, alive. It does not ask permission. It does not bargain. It moves in fidelity, steady and gentle, carrying you without effort. Do you feel it? Can you notice the subtle difference between reacting and responding? Between bracing and trusting? This is a question I ask you not rhetorically, but as a reflection you must answer in the quiet of your chest. Can you allow yourself to feel the authority that has returned to you? Can you allow yourself to breathe without scanning for danger? Can you allow your spirit to recognize that no unseen force can breach the boundary now drawn by love and alignment? Can you accept, for just this moment, that peace is not conditional, that it does not need to be earned or justified, that it simply exists as your right? I see the scars you carry, the faint echoes of battles fought in silence, the weight of vigilance that once defined your every breath. I want you to know that none of that was wasted. Each night you survived, each fear you faced, each decision to hold your heart open despite what threatened it, all of that created a foundation strong enough to withstand life without breaking. And now, that foundation is not only intact, it is consecrated. It is ready to support joy, clarity, love, and discernment without requiring you to defend them constantly. You may feel some hesitation in believing this. That is natural. Suspicion of safety is a residue of the past. But hear me now, the world cannot reach the sanctuary you carry within. It may knock, it may demand attention, it may try to confuse or distract you, but the boundary has already been drawn, and it is not negotiable. This is not arrogance, this is divine architecture. This is the way protection operates when it does not need display or dramatization. Calm is the shield that cannot be pierced because it lives in alignment, not reaction. You might notice that your intuition is growing sharper now, tuned to truth rather than anxiety. You can sense what matters and what does not, often before words or actions intervene. That subtle guidance is not coincidence. It is the internalization of all the times you survived with awareness intact. It is the soul's recalibration, its integration of past vigilance into present discernment. When a choice arises, you will feel a clarity that feels quiet but is absolute. That is the fruit of what you have endured. Let me speak to your heart about grief, because grief will always arrive even in the midst of peace. There may be moments when tears come for reasons you cannot immediately name, memories of what was lost, recognition of the years spent bracing, sorrow for the innocence taken or delayed. Allow this grief its space. It does not contradict strength. It does not undermine restoration. Grief is a teacher that softens the mind without weakening the core. Witness it. Breathe into it. Let it pass when its lesson has been learned. Every tear is a release, not a weakening. You are allowed to be gentle with yourself. Not perfunctorily gentle, not because someone tells you to be, but because you recognize that harshness was only ever necessary as a survival tool. Now survival is not the test. Flourishing is. And flourishing demands gentleness as its scaffolding. When you rest, when you smile, when you speak your truth calmly, you are participating in the sacred act of self-reclamation. It is holy in ways that escape immediate notice, but it matters immensely. Notice how your awareness of the present is widening. Small details, the warmth of sunlight, the sound of a distant bird, the texture of your own skin, begin to register with clarity that they did not before. This is the spirit opening, the nervous system unwinding, the soul finally free to notice its environment without filter or distraction. You are being reintroduced to the world as it truly is, not only as a battlefield or a set of obligations. This is life arriving without threat. I am aware of the questions that dwell in the back of your mind even now. What if the calm does not last? What if old patterns return? What if peace feels fragile? I tell you these questions exist because they are echoes of your history, not commands of your present. You have endured patterns that were cruel, circumstances that demanded vigilance, forces that tried to misplace your worth. You have emerged on the other side. That is the only measure that matters. Let the questions exist, but do not answer them through fear. Answer them through observation. Through steady trust. Through patience. Your courage is quiet now, refined, without flair or dramatization. You may feel moments when you are tempted to prove your endurance, to relive struggles as evidence of strength. Resist that temptation. True courage is a state of being, not a performance. It is visible in the way you respond with equanimity, the way you rest without guilt, the way you remain kind without self-erasure. That courage, subtle and enduring, will sustain you for the long arc of life more reliably than any heroic display ever could. You are also allowed to rest fully without guilt. Not occasionally, not partially, not as a reward, but as a natural right. The body, the mind, the spirit, all have been taxed. All have carried burdens invisible to the world, burdens whose gravity you bore silently. Rest is not a concession, it is restoration. When you lie down, when you pause, when you simply breathe, you are participating in a sacred rhythm that aligns you with life rather than exhausts you for it. If fear whispers, let it speak only to be recognized, not obeyed. Fear in this context is like a ghost visiting a home you now own. It has no authority here. You can observe it, allow it to exist, and then let it pass without granting it power. The world may continue to produce conditions that trigger reflexes, but reflexes no longer define you. You are the calm within the reflex. You are the observer, the steady axis around which the world can move without displacing your core.